If you are an interior design student and you're about to finish your degree and you're about to look for your first design job in a studio and you're feeling nervous, then I want to give you my top tips in this video, the ones that I wish I had when I first started. And I hope it's helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you have questions, and let's get into it. The first tip I have is going to be controversial because I know some people are really against it and others take advantage of it. But nowadays, having a network is what works the best. So if you know people, you're most likely to get into your first job. And I know a lot of people say, I want to do it on my own. It's great, but life is difficult. And if you know people who can help you get your first job, because this is literally the hardest job that you're going to get, is the first one when you have no experience whatsoever. If you know people, just make the most of it. But if you don't know people, when you apply, it's equally important that you show your skills, but you should also show your personality. Remember that for any type of job, you're going to have hundreds of people with the same types of skills. They're going to be great at doing 3D or construction drawings or whatever skills that this company is looking for. They're going to be hundreds of people just like you. And what people tend to forget is that, me included, like I have a business and I have 10 plus people in my business. And even though it's an online business, the people that will be working with me need to have the personality and the similar values to be able to work with me, because it's people that I'm going to be interacting with every single day. They can have the best skills in the world, but if I cannot communicate with them, if I cannot laugh with them, if they don't work well with a group of people, they're just not going to be sticking around very long. It's not someone that I'm going to want to be working with. So I will say this: showcase your skills, but also showcase who you are as an individual, what you like, why you think this company will benefit from having you on their team. Maybe you love working in groups, you're super proactive because you like testing new things and you like to be out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, like, be very specific and don't just say things that everybody's saying, like, the bad thing about me is that I'm a perfectionist. Everybody says that, it doesn't mean anything. So be specific about you, show who you are, like, let your personality come through. My second tip is that I would try to work for a smaller company for your first job, because you're going to be able to learn a lot more. I worked for a tiny company on my first job. They were actually two of my teachers at uni, and they offered me a job on my last day, the day that I showed my portfolio. They gave me a job and I was so happy. But they were just starting out, like it was just them two, and then they hired another girl. They had also someone helping part-time, and then they hired me. Because it was a small company, they got me to do things that a big company would not normally let me do, because they didn't have that many people. So they just wanted to get us on board faster. They wanted us to learn faster. And I'm thankful because I learned a lot more working with them than if I had started with a bigger company. And so if you have the opportunity to work with a smaller company, ask them to teach you more about the business side. Don't just stay in the design side, but if you have the opportunity to learn more about how to have a business, even if you are not interested in starting your own business, that's what I thought as well, like 10 years ago, that I didn't want my own business, and now I have my own business. So just get them to teach you more about the business side of things, to understand how it works to be a business owner, what the process is to work with clients, what documents they use. It's going to be so much more valuable for you as an experience than just doing CAD drawings every single day. And if you have the opportunity to work with a smaller company, the good thing is that you're most likely going to have contact with clients. I worked with a company after that one that would not let me go to client meetings, and I hated it. I think it's so important for us, especially when we start out, to understand what it's like to be at a client meeting, understand how they talk, how we help them, how your boss is handling the meeting. And talking to clients is a big part of understanding what their needs are with their project, with their home, and then be able to work on it. It just doesn't feel right when you stay in the office all day and you don't get to go to site, you don't get to meet clients, you don't get to meet contractors, because it's a huge part of the learning process. The next tip was actually given to me by my first boss, and it's fake it until you make it. which means that he would send me to meetings with contractors and electricians and so on, or structural engineers by myself. When he couldn't make the meeting, he would send me, and I would feel super stressed because I would tell him I will have no idea how to answer questions from the structural engineer because I don't know any of this yet. And you would say, just fake it until you make it. Just say, yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to talk to the team and I will get back to you. Never show that you don't know the answer. Just say that you have to talk to the team and you'll be sending them an email later that day. So all of this is going to make your experience with this company more valuable. You don't want to just be doing CAD drawings all day. You want to work on all aspects of the projects. When you work with a bigger company, sometimes each person on the team has to do one thing. When you work with a smaller team, you kind of have to get your hands dirty and help wherever you can. And this is great because you're going to feel uncomfortable most of the time, but you're going to learn much faster than anybody else. My next tip is to ask questions. Don't feel bad for not knowing. This company hired you knowing that you just came out of uni, that you don't have any work experience whatsoever. They will be expecting that you have questions, and you should actually ask a lot of questions to show them that you're interested. Someone who doesn't ask questions doesn't seem like someone who's really interested in learning. So ask questions, don't feel bad, get everything that you need to grow much faster, because the more experience you get with a small company, the better equipped you're going to be to work for a bigger company. Next tip, understand the difference between constructive feedback and criticism. I used to be someone who always felt criticized, and I felt really bad that people thought I was doing something the wrong way. But actually, see it this way. You're learning, you have no idea what you're doing. When someone who is ahead of you gives you feedback, take it as constructive feedback. Be open to hearing someone tell you how you can improve something that you're doing, because it's the same thing. You're going to be growing much faster if you take this comment as constructive feedback rather than criticism, because criticism is going to make you closed off. It's not, you're just going to be like focused on the fact that this person is criticizing you, instead of seeing it, well, you know, this person has 20 plus years of experience that I don't have. So the more I learn from them, the better I'm going to be as a designer and potentially business owner down the line. Next tip is to network. Every chance you get, try to network, meet people. As I said earlier in this video, networking is essential. You're going to be meeting people in the industry, and potentially that could bring you another work opportunity down the line. So network, meet other designers at your level, but also try to meet people who are ahead of you that can give you tips, can direct you, can help you get your next job. Networking in this industry is essential. My last tip for this video is don't stay in this small company for more than 3 to 5 years. The reason is because it's a small company, and if it doesn't grow much, then you're going to be learning tons at the beginning, but then it's going to slow down until you feel completely bored. You don't want to get to this point where you feel completely bored. You want to always be learning. It's a fast-paced environment. There are different fields in design. And my first boss always told me that I shouldn't even be staying with them more than 3 years because I have to learn to work on different types of projects. So that company was doing residential design. And after 3 years, I moved on to doing commercial design. So I was doing restaurants. And it was an amazing experience, because it's only when you try new things, different things, that you're going to understand what you feel most passionate about. If you only work on small residential projects, you're never going to know if you would enjoy commercial projects better. So trying to get different experience to make up your mind about what really interests you is essential. And after 3 years, the workload was a little bit slow. I felt a little bit bored. So I felt like it was the right time for me to move on to a bigger company. And it was faster paced. I'm glad I had my first experience, because it helped me a lot when I moved on to that second company. And that second company, I only stayed for a year, because it had something about, you know, bigger companies that I didn't like, is that I didn't have any contacts with the clients. So just try out different things, stay enough time that you get the experience that you need, but don't feel bad for telling the small company that taught you everything that it's time for you to move on. If they value you, and they value you as a person, but also as a designer, they will want you to get more experience, and they will be happy for you. So those are my tips before you get your first interior design job. I hope they're helpful. Don't panic, we've all been through it. So just try to have fun and learn as much as you can in those first few years because they're the best years. I'll see you next video.